Here we are on Tuesday, the 10th of September 2024, with the latest edition of the Podful of Saints. With all some smiling faces here, because on Saturday at Clarence Park, it was a momentous occasion, as we shall look at in a minute. Right, with myself, David Tavener, Jake Ellacott, Master of Controls, of course.
Hello, everyone. I was going to say that was a very positive, happy start, wasn't it? Ah, it bodes well.
It won't last, mate. Trust me.
Yeah, that's Lee Wood with the St Albans City. Oh no, that's not his personal Albans City shirt. Right, there may be an explanation later, but who cares? Right, last Saturday at Clarence Park, I say a momentous occasion. St Albans City got a point. We got a National League South point. The parties are still going on in St Peter Street, I believe. Jake, your report in the non-league paper. You only gave it 2 stars, you miserable sod. It was a better game than that. The headline, which you've denied all knowledge of, claimed it was our first win of the season. So if the NLP are going to give us 3 points every time we draw, we'd take it. We've got a chance of getting out of the bottom 2. I thought it was a decent game, actually. It was our most positive performance of the season. We tried to get at them. And to a degree, it worked. We created quite a few chances, a lot more than in previous games. Trouble is, most of them were up in the air, and we couldn't get above the headers and get them on target. Philip Chinadu, him as well. He had a couple. One you felt he should have done a lot better with. The others, I know what he stretched for. Sean, maybe in previous years, he might have got that on target, that header, but I think, again, he was stretching for it. And that's what it seemed to be like. I don't know what you thought, Jake, but I thought we had a lot of chances, but they were half chances, whereas Weston had a couple of really good chances they should have stuck away.
Yeah, I mean, when I came away from the game, I thought that was positive. We kept a clean sheet, but then on the counterpoint, you actually think of the bigger chances. They were Weston's way, weren't they? And actually, we have to thank Michael Johnson, who I think it's fair to say the game before had a bit of a shocker, but on Saturday was much improved and made some decent saves. But I said it was an improved performance, but we're coming from such a low bar at the minute that actually, that is a starting point, isn't it? And it was an all right performance. I say we created some chances. We looked positive going forward, but the chances were not exactly glaring. Most of them, apart from probably say Chinedu's that header. And then I saw a couple of fans saying, would it have been different if we had someone like Ken Charles up front with a bit more of a leap on him to maybe meet some of those? So ifs and buts, but I know we joke about it. It's a point, isn't it? It is a point on the board. It's a clean sheet. It is something that has stopped the rot, and it is something that we could try and build on.
What are you on about this low bar? It's our lowest number of points from 8 games and the least number of goals we scored after 8 league games. I don't know what you're talking about. Apart from that, all looking good. Ken Charles thing, I don't know. Sean's got some good-headed goals down the years. Yeah. And so, I don't know. Horses for courses with that one. One of the plus points I thought for us that made us more attack-minded is Sam Deadfield. I thought we made him, or maybe off his own bat, got forward more. It wasn't just holding midfield, he was getting forward more. And when he hits the ball, when he gets it right, he hits it quite nicely, doesn't he? Couldn't get his shots on target apart from the free kick, which the keeper saved well. And how that, who was it? Jason Pope who handled it. How he didn't get booked for that. Blatant handball it was. And then late in the game when he took Sam Meeks out on the touchline, that should have been the second yellow and he should have been off. But it's nice to see us getting a free kick and having a go at goal, isn't it?
It is. And you talk about Deadfield and midfield. Interestingly, Nobby talked about in his post-match, didn't he? He made some changes tactically to the team, a bit of a change in shape. And I think part of that was the midfield, actually. We did look better there. I mean, I don't know how much of it was Weston, because they didn't impress me as much as I expected. I thought they'd be on a bit more on the front foot. They haven't said that. They did have probably better chances. But overall, we were able to take a bit more control of midfield. And as you said, there was a little bit more positivity. And maybe that balance between Deadfield and Payne was just a little bit better. And there's a little bit more of what we've been wanting for the last few weeks or since the start of the season, really. So that's a positive against take. And it's something to build upon. But again, still, I think there were still some players, though, that didn't quite meet the expectations, I think, in midfield that we have expected so far.
5 straight wins for Weston before the game. They knew their winning one had to end sometime, so they'd probably settle for 5 wins and a draw out of 6, keeps them 4th in the table against the side that is now bottom of the table. They'd probably like to win, but overall, they'd probably be happy with a point, I would have thought. Yeah, 1 or 2 players still not on their best form. You're dead right in midfield there. But one thing about substitutions, we took off Josh Castelloni. What is it? 8 league games he started. He's been taken off in 6 of them. And what was it, Chelmsford last year? Statistic. I think he started in 16, taken off in 10 of them. I just wonder. I don't know if there's a reason for it. Why we take him off? Why we don't give him a whole game, see what he can do, or we're going to decide he's not contributing enough, which is what the stats suggest there, and go something different down there. I don't know. That's all in Nobby's head. But the other sub, Sean Jeffers, took him off on 83. And he put Sam Meeks on, who then got that ludicrous booking. He went for the bouncing ball. He got it before the keeper. Didn't touch a keeper. The keeper goes down as if he'd been shot and no sign of a mark on his head whatsoever. I just wondered, would it have been worth gambling those last 10 minutes, having Sam Meeks and Sean Jeffers up front? If we'd lost, at least we'd have said, all right, Nobby, you gave it a go. You went for the win.
Yeah, I agree, to be honest. I mean, when Meeks came on, he didn't really add anything, did he? I mean, he barely got to touch the ball, I thought. And Sean probably was tiring, but you just wonder if there's a way of fitting them both in. I mean, there can't be many City. He got booked before his first touch, didn't he? As I saw it, so can't be many City players that have done that. I'm sure Dave will tell us if there's any others. But yeah, I agree that sub didn't work, and I thought you could hear among the Saints fans that it was a sub that wasn't a particularly popular one. Maybe there's quite a bit of what the heck's going on here? Why are we making this change? Why are we not going 2 up top, or maybe bringing Meeks on for someone else? So, but oh, my camera's turned off. Excuse that. But apart from that, we held on at least, didn't we? That's a positive, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't feel, but we did hold on. I thought if anybody held on, it was Western. But as we said before, they had the better chances. But overall, I think some positives. One thing which I thought was absolutely ridiculous was when we lost that ball just outside our penalty area. We did a stupid short goal kick. Partington plays it to Michael Johnson, I think it was. Johnson played it straight down the middle to Alfie Payne, was it? Who got dispossessed. But what are we doing playing the ball, first of all, to the goalkeeper and expect him to play football? You've gone again, Jake, and you've never looked better when it looks dark. And you're playing the ball straight down the middle of your penalty area out of the box. I mean, as a kid, you're told, don't pass across your goal mouth. Don't pass straight in front of your goal to the edge of the box. We did for 2 Cardinal Sims. That's the way we're told to play, and it's wrong. You can see it's wrong. It should have cost us a goal, but I think it's Joe Partington come back and made a tackle that rescued us. But Joe Partington, Joe, you're getting a bit of stick on the terraces, I'm afraid. People think he's getting caught out a bit too easily.
Yeah, I think I don't think that's a harsh opinion based on the last couple of games, but I thought he was better on Saturday against Weston. And I think I'd say that was a brilliant tackle for that. And also, I thought the whole defence again looked pretty good to me. David Longking, I think I said he was our player of the match in the match report, and I thought he was very consistent and strong at the back again. So I think the defensive frailties, I mean, we haven't really had many this season, have we? We haven't conceded a lot of goals. Defensively, I think there's something to build upon. I think the issues are a little bit further forward in the team at the minute. So it's good to see a clean sheet because that will give those defensive players a lot of confidence going into some tough fixtures.
I don't want to have a go at Nobby, but after the game, Joe, whoever he is, said in the interview about the performances, and Nobby fingering ears, scratching beard, says, there's nothing wrong with the performances. Have been good, Joe. They've been good. Well, those of us who are at Farnborough, those of us who are at Tunbridge, it's not my words, those who were there will tell you they were 2 dreadful City performances. And if we're not realistic enough to accept that we have problems, then we are just going to keep sliding. And if we're accepting those sort of performances as good enough, then no. What you hope is Western performance is the start of better things to come. But we've got to show it consistently now and get some goals.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's perfect.
All right, okay. There we go. That's that all done then. Done. Good crowd.
I was going to say, Lee, do you have any thoughts on? You've been making a few facial expressions, especially while I've been talking.
Well, I think we have had a really good couple of games. Yeah, no. I think people need to appreciate the situation that we're currently in. Small steps, tentative steps, positive steps, maybe. It's a point at home to Weston-super-Mare. In the grand scheme of things, we have to do better than that because, as we alluded to last week, teams around us will get 3 points when we're just getting one. And that's exactly what happened. You know, Weymouth pulled out an amazing result on Saturday, and it leaves us rock bottom of the entire league. So, yes, whilst I fully appreciate the fact that it may be an improvement on recent performances, it hasn't got us anywhere. In fact, it's lost us ground. I was speaking to a colleague of mine. He's a coach in the EFL. He's got a vested interest in the club. He lives locally. He comes down maybe 2-3 times a season when work allows. He came down to the Chesham game, but I didn't catch up with him until this week. And he said we're just a patch on what he saw last season and the season before. He understands what's trying to happen and the plans in place, but I think it's just the personnel. I think that this is him talking. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he just doesn't get it. I mean, there's just too many similar elements, and there's no balance at the minute. And I think, look, Jake, you're right, mate. A point is a point, but at the minute we've got to start looking, raising our own bar. And hopefully, Taz, I hope you are right, mate, that this is the thing. This is the catalyst of good things to come, because time's getting tight, boys. And as he said, in another sort of 2 weeks' time, that's a quarter of the season gone. It's a quarter of the season gone. And you've probably got what normally sort of tends to happen. Textbook is normally managers get three sort of stages to impress. August to sort of like November, December. Then if they're not sort of, picking it up, then they get the heave-ho. You get someone fresh in time for the Christmas period. They get a little bit of a cash injection, and then they get the rest of the season. Or a manager gets passed into the new year, sort of January, February time. If it isn't working then, or teams are in dire trouble, then they give him the old heave-ho, and they get someone new in for the final push, another little bit of cash injection, and then hopefully they starve off a relegation. But that's extremes, right? And, okay, we're looking at it at face value, but a point at home to Weston-super-Mare, fellas. Got to be better than that, surely.
Right, it's 2 points from 8 games this season, which you touched on earlier, and which is relegation form, 100%. Add it into the back end of last season, where it's 1 win in 8. So we've had 1 win in 16 National League South matches. Now, it stinks of having to Waterlooville, the end of one season, then all through last season. And so I was talking to a former National League South manager last week. He said, if you don't realise soon enough you are in a relegation battle and you think it's going to come good and you don't do anything about it, well, you are going to stay in that relegation battle, which is what you've alluded to there, Lee, really, isn't it? If the club just keeps on thinking it's going to get better when we get an encouraging draw, but then don't follow it with a win, then you're going to keep losing ground, and off you go. Cheerio.
Okay, I think it's unfair to sort of tag on the results to the latter end of last season. I know why you're trying to sort of do it, but I think that there's enough has happened. We're looking at it at this season alone, and it's still not good enough. But what I'm going to say is now, let's look forward. This is probably, we've got a whole week now to prepare. There's no midweek games for us. Maybe that's 2 opportunities for Noble and Meeks to really sort of get into the team. They've got a full week of training and tactics and planning ahead. We've got the Cup on Saturday. That has the ability to really kickstart our season. We get a good result away to Needham Market, and that form could again breed confidence into the league campaign. But again, it's more hope than judgment at the minute, I think.
Dismissing the end of last season, I can understand that to a degree, but a number of those players who are in those 8 games only got 1 win last season. They're still in the side now. You've got the same coaching staff, and you've got the previous managers come back as well. So everything is the same as it was, really, and the results are drifting on the same. So it's a case of how long do you give it? Yeah. You got anything to say on that sort of thing, Jake, about the form overall and how far should we expand it back and whatnot? And do we keep sticking with it?
Yeah, and it is a concern, and I think we should stick with it for now. I think it was obvious after we got that point on Saturday that we were going to stick with it going to this game, Needham Market, but we know that it's a massive game. But like Lee said earlier, quite a bit of the season's already been played because of how much they front load the division in National League. And you just have to look at the table. I know it's a decent point on Saturday, but going away from that game, we've dropped to bottom of the division for the first time in quite a while. When was the last time we were bottom of the National League South? It's been a long time, and I know it's very early on. But also, the worrying thing is you look at the gap already, 6 points to Salisbury outside the relegation places. I know it's really not a lot, but psychologically, when you look at that gap, you think, "Oh goodness me, that's actually quite big already." Especially when you're not picking up points, and we've got the fixtures that we do have coming up. So just a bit of a worry there, and also I think the annoying thing is we talked about so much about what we could achieve this season in terms of the squad we've put together. I mean, we're so far off the top 10, top 7 at the minute. It's a big gap already, and we didn't even mention the club down the road from Vauxhall Road, how they're getting on. So a lot of concerns at the minute, and in the league itself, we do need to start picking up more points very soon. Take away the fact of the cup coming up as well.
Well, that's what we move on to now, isn't it? The FA Cup. Needham Market away on Saturday. First time we've been to Bloomfield. You've got a bit of knowledge, I think, Lee. In fact, Suffolk clubs, we didn't play any of them in the FA Cup until 1995-96 season. We played Woodbridge Town away, got a very fortuitous 1-1 draw with a Greg Howell goal. Even more fortuitous replay win, 2-0 down the park when they were the better side. Since then, we've had AFC Sudbury a couple of times, Lowestoft Town, one at the park. And last year, of course, we were down at Leiston. Goals by Dylan Farge and Joe Rasulu saw us to victory. AFC Sudbury 2 years ago, the home 1-1 draw was Ian Hunson's. No, it wasn't. It was the home game. It was our 300th FA Cup tie. The away game was Ian Hunson's 300th game as City manager. 3 wins, 2 draws against teams from Suffolk. This one, we probably go into it as underdogs.
I don't know. Do we?
That's
I
controversial.
Guess we do. Goodness me.
Good luck, Jake.
I guess we do, but then Needham aren't exactly putting up trees, are they? But like you said last week, Dave, annoyingly, they've suddenly found a little bit of form. It's a little bit of form that actually I wouldn't mind us finding, to be honest. I'd quite like to be on 7 points right now. So fair play to them. It is going to be really difficult. They won the Southern Premier League Central, was it last year? Didn't they, as title winners? And they've come into this new season probably not with as much confidence and much momentum as they'd expected, but they've started to find their feet now in what we know is a really tough division, especially for those teams that play a bit more south, play a bit more east. There's a lot of long trips. There's a lot of tough games. We know the style of play in the north's a little bit different as well. So it's going to be a really hard game.
Yeah, they've won 2 of their last 3 games. Obviously, they lost the last one, which hopefully will have dented their confidence a bit after those 2 previous wins. Tell us what you know about Bloomfield, Lee.
It's nice. You get stuck behind that tractor, mate, then you'll know about it. Yeah, it's Kevin Horlock, I believe, is their manager, former West Ham, Northern Ireland international. Yeah, he's got them playing some nice stuff. He has got them playing some nice stuff. What I would say is that I think the fact it's an unknown is going to benefit us. Quite honestly, they're not the biggest club by any stretch. The crowds, they fluctuate. But look, we're going to go there, and I believe there's quite a few of us that are going to be making the trip on Saturday. So we're going to just take it at face value. Hopefully, we're going to bring the noise and the flags and that enthusiasm that we need, because we've had some wonderful runs in the Cup and some fantastic, memorable games. And let's hope that the Needham Market on Saturday is the springboard for another decent cup run for us, because I think we need some feel-good factor to sort of come back into this club now. And I think the FA Cup could be that avenue.
It's interesting, Jake, what you said about we could do with 2 league wins. We had that win against Hampton in our final home game of last season. You go back for our second league win, and it was 12th of March, away to Weston-super-Mare. Yeah, do you know the last time we won at home on a Saturday in the league?
Oh, goodness me.
Come on, Tabs.
Wow.
Put us out of our misery. Go on.
February the 10th.
Oh, no. Who was that against?
As well.
It's an easy one against Taunton, 6-0. We
Oh,
used up all
God.
our goals in one go.
Yeah, well, we're not playing at the park this Saturday, so it doesn't matter.
No.
We're away in the beautiful countryside. And it's memories of last season, isn't it? Leiston away. I think it's fair to say, Dave, we went into that game in similar form and similar worries, didn't we, against what we thought was going to be a tricky tie. And to be honest, it was tricky, actually. We didn't play at our best. They created a few chances, but we came away with a win, and it felt great, and it gave us some positives, like Lee said, going into the next few games. And hopefully we can harness that on Saturday, because we need to kickstart this season somewhere, somehow. Don't care how it goes in, whatever happens. If we can get a winner on Saturday in whatever fashion, that could easily change this season totally. So we've just got to go there with the same approach that I'd say we have had. We haven't really. We've got to go there with some positivity, to be honest.
That's good analysis, that, Jacob. Well done, buddy.
Yeah. got to go there positivity. And I'm hoping that Saturday's draw is something that they can build upon and take the positives out of. Might not be much, but it is something going into a tough game. But it is a winnable game. You know, we've not drawn a team that's top of the National League South or North or a big spending club. It's a team that, you know, on paper we can beat, but we've got to be at our best to do it.
So far this year, 2024, we've won 10 league games, lost 12, cup ties, played 5, won 5. So it's we're as good as through to the next round, aren't we, on Saturday?
That is the positivity that we like. That is the Tabs positivity train. Everyone on board. Here we go. Next stop, Needham Market.
Choo choo.
What was that? Brilliant. Love that.
Right. We're not going to touch too much on that because you two have got other things you want to talk about, I believe, regarding the FA Cup from down the years.
Yeah, so we just thought it's been quite demoralising, hasn't it? The performances and indeed the pod over the last month or so. So we thought we'd put it out to you, our intrepid, loyal listeners and watchers, to sort of, you know, give us your favourite Saints memories. Not necessarily the results, but the memories. And I'm witching away because I'm giving Jake enough time to load up the Twitter feed so he can read off all your responses. Cue Jacob.
Yeah, we had lots of responses, and it's actually a real wide variety. Lee, you've seen they've actually cost quite a long time. So, first one mentioned from Nigel was Chatham away in 2013, which got us to Mansfield, wasn't it? And I remember the celebrations behind the goal were absolutely brilliant that day. I'm sure, Lee, you were at the heart of it. Another one, what's actually received a few mentions is Telford, which is one I can't really talk about. I'm sure, Lee, you could go into a bit more detail.
And Mr. Tavener, of course. Yeah, I mean, winning with a last-minute goal, Clarkey is always going to be up there, isn't it, in terms of memories. That set up our first-round tie against Cheltenham at home. For me, I mean, I can reel off. I've got some good ones. Egham was good. I think just because, you know, we were on that run. Sam Merson was very much the man in form. Grimsby away. I've got fond memories of that because I thought.
Why have you got fond memories? Go on.
Well, this is what I'm saying. It's not necessarily, we're not after the results per se, but it's like, you know, you've got good, and it was a really good atmosphere behind the goal. Everyone made it sort of tight. Louis Theophanous won the goal of the round competition for his goal. Yeah. So that's little sort of takeaways. We hadn't been there before. It was a big ground. Luton away in the cup, and I know we got absolutely spanked 4-0, but just going to these grounds that you'd never get a chance to do so before as a City fan. I was actually working for Luton at the time, and I went into the boardroom with my Albans City tie, and I was just you know, just laughed at, as I am normally, but even more so. But I think if it wasn't for Paul Bastock having an absolute worldie, literally, I promise you now, keeping it down to single figures. Just stuff like that, really. But I think for me, Wisbeach was a slightly under fire manager, stop-start squad, maybe too reliant on a striker up front, having to go to, deepest, darkest East Anglia. All this sounds very, very familiar. And we come away with a 2-1 win, a very hostile crowd as well. Greg Howe got a brace, again, a few minutes from time. I mean, just a real authentic cup tie. It was cold, it was dark, it was foggy, the pitch was an absolute disgrace. But one more, if I may. I think the Carlisle game, for a different reason, I think that was the first opportunity the club realised what could be achieved in terms of their off-field presence. The co-owners, Lawrence and John, Tom Norman, myself, you, Jake, Tav, we all worked together to sort of build this sort of brand behind this one game. Everything was we had the fancy tickets, we took posters out to the shops and the pubs and stuff, and everyone was talking about it, and the social media, and everything was sort of tied in. And I think from that we gave stuff away to the kids, like the young saints. They got free stuff. Initiatives. We made the Clarence Park experience nowhere like it is now, obviously, but we worked within what we could to make it the best possible cup tie. And on the field, if the referee had a bit more nerve to send off the fella that Junior Moraes was absolutely roasting, at will, it could have been completely different. This is what I'm saying. The response we've got from the fans shows to you that St Albans and the FA Cup, there's a real connection there. And I think if we can create something on Saturday, hopefully going forward, we can add to this fantastic lists of games that you lot have been coming up with. Jake?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have to mention Matt Nobby mentioned Wisbech in '96. As he said, very good. Adrian Dawes said Walsall at home in 1970. Dean Williams said, of course, Telford away. I think he might be
Walsall at home 1970.
Oh no, here we go.
Oh, he's rattled.
Oh, no.
Who's rattled him?
1968.
Oh, close enough. And another one actually, which AFC Sudbury away in 2002, Dave.
Yes.
So we're heading that way.
Yes, that was a 2-1 win with D'Souza and Ryan Moran. I think that's a late goal again, got us through there. Did that not get us through to face Stockport County in the next round when we had, as far as I can remember, the only time we've had a player sent off wrongly, it was they identified the wrong player. It should have been, what's his name, Rob Keane, who got sent off, and they sent off Rob Gould instead. And they look nothing like each other. 4-1 defeat at Stockport. But yes, Sudbury, we were higher ranked than then. You'd expect to win, but that was a tough one.
Even games like Stockport, I know that's very fond in a lot of fans' memories. Of course, the obvious ones we haven't mentioned is Bristol City, Forest Green, etc. St Albans City in the FA Cup, when I was growing up, there was quite a barren period where we basically did nothing. We got knocked out most qualifying rounds. But actually, when you look at the club's history, we've actually got a lot of brilliant games in the FA Cup and a lot of history. And you can see why so many Saints fans, as Lee said, still love the Cup. And it means so much to them. And they're so willing to travel many miles away to a small town in Suffolk or wherever we're going on Saturday and actually get behind the team because it means so much. We also had a couple of defeats mentioned. I know we're trying to be positive, but Matt again mentioned Hayes and Yedding in around 2006. When we were in the conference, we missed out on a tie with Forest.
Hayes and Yedding being just Yedding at that point, I think. We had Paul Bastock sent off. Their goalkeeper, was it Delroy Preddy? He got sent off late in the game. They had centre-half sent off as well late on. A ridiculous amount of time wasting by them. We scrambled a late goal. It might have been a Clarkey... a Tom Davis late penalty. We just couldn't get an equaliser, and that was one of our low points. So thanks for brought that. Was that Matt again?
Yeah, and then one more low point. Andy Hammond, who I know watched quite a bit. He said his worst was Ford United away in 1990.
Well, I'm glad he's mentioned that.
United.
Well, Ford United. Did they play at Red Bridges grounds? Something like that. Probably not. that was a day. John Latwood will give you a good story on this one. We lost 3-1 to them. Unbelievable. Jimmy Howard was manager. Just about one of our lowest points in our history. And they did an outrageous amount of time wasting, which you didn't do against us nowadays. And it got so bad. Adrian Jolliffe, sadly no longer with us. When the ball went out for a goal kick, they were taking ages. Over he goes, over the fence, grabs the ball, puts it on the edge of a 6-yard box, ready for the keeper to take the goal kick. And that is a great memory from a very bad day in our history. We've got plenty of those. You've got Brimsdown Rovers, shocking day there. When was that? Following season. I think others, Kempston Rovers beat us down the park. What, Spartan South Midlands side, I think they were. We were all over them, but they got the 2 goals. And there's been so many like that. Another Andy, your 5-0 defeat at Chesham United in 1993. We were runners-up to Chesham the previous year when they were champions. The 2 top teams would draw 1-1 at the start of the season, opening day of the 93-94 season. Then they did us 5-0 at the Meadow. I don't think Ian Mitchell got a hat-trick like you said, Andy. I think he only got 2. 5th goal was scored by Gary Cobb, one of several one-time Saints in the Chesham side. Then you also mentioned Telford United, a lot of people's favourite game. I'll go back to 1980, a 1-1 draw at home to Torquay United, then in the Football League. They won up at half-time. They were coasting. Second half, we battered them. Paul Mayles got the equaliser. And we're dead unlucky not to win it. Then got stuffed in the replay down at Plainmoor, which we won't get stuffed at Plainmoor in a couple of weeks' time, of course, when we go there again. And it's just like so many good and bad memories down the years. Any others you've got to chuck in there?
Well, I've got one, actually. Go on.
Oh, go on, Lee. Go on, Lee.
I was to say, probably a famous one, but for all the wrong reasons. We played, I think it was Concord at home in the Cup. And the owners allowed John Frendo to leave, to not play that game, to go to the Bernabeu to watch the El Clasico. And the subsequent fallout, the hashtag Forgive Frendo afterwards. I mean, there were people, I don't know who we would have played if we'd have won. And I get the feeling it would have been someone, no, Taz is shaking his head. But I just thought that tie, I mean, it was just horrendous. We just didn't get going at all. We deserved to lose. And poor John, he had to sort of, bear the brunt of all that anger and frustration. And, quite right, to be fair.
Any of our newer Saints fans, if you put Forgive Frendo, the hashtag, into Twitter, you'll still find the posts. And also, if you put it into Google, literally the first result is a Hearts Ad article. How Messi and Ronaldo urged Albans City fans to forgive Frendo.
I'm trying to think who scored the Concord goal. I think it was Joe somebody. It was in the Hatfield Road end. But all right, another one. Carlisle United defeat you mentioned. Great game. Probably the best FA Cup game we've seen down the park, apart from Forest Green Rovers. The win over Forest Green Rovers, probably our biggest win in the FA Cup. Our first one, only our second one against the Football League side. The first one was against Brentford back in the mid-1920s. They were struggling down the bottom of the Football League. Forest Green were top of, Division 4, whatever it's called nowadays. So that has to be our biggest win. But what about Mansfield Town? We're playing brilliantly. 43 minutes, 1-0 up, all going well. Darren Locke's fine goal. Then we lose 8-1. But all right, absolute disaster in the end. But it looked like being one of our greatest days.
It was without doubt the closest 8-1 game I've ever seen in my entire life. And I say that genuinely because I thought for the first 35 minutes we matched them. I thought that James Comley was the best player on the pitch by a country mile. He ran that game. And all that happened was, I think they scored a couple just before half-time and they went into the lead at the break. And after that, I think we just tired. But again, to have that crowd at Clarence Park, Tabs was right. After Lockie scored the goal, the pandemonium on the terraces, and they're not as safe as what they are now either. There were just bodies strewn all over the place. But again, this is what can be achieved with a little bit of belief. And I think it's really important to look at the failures in the cup as well as the successes, because I think they shed some light on our journey through the competition. And good and bad, you can still take positive memories away from defeats. And I think the Mansfield game, I think the club could hold their head high. And I know that, hopefully we're going to have some few more along the way as well.
What about luck in the FA Cup? You go back to the Forest Green Rovers season. Corinthian Casuals.
I knew you were going to mention that, mate.
4 minutes into injury time, we waft the free kick into the box, straight into the keeper's arms. Daniel Bracken, he drops it. Dave Dishu pokes it in. That freak, bit of luck, whatever you want to call it, that's probably worth about 150, 175,000 pounds to the club. Casuals lost that money. We got it. We didn't even need to sell extra beer that money. It's all come from the FA fund.
And that's why we love Big Dave, and that's why he's a legend on this podcast.
He is a legend.
City. And Dave, you talk about that wasn't the only luck we had in that qualifying run. We were dreadful against Concord. They missed a penalty, and then we went through.
Well, as you say, we've got to give Michael Johnson credit for the save at Concord.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And also, was it Met Police in the next round after that?
Again, game.
We weren't great. It was in the pouring rain, wasn't it? And then luckily, we just held on.
I mean, everyone's got absolutely drenched. The only good thing about that game was that I met Alex Stewart in the bar, which was fantastic. Cricket legend. But yeah, but Tabs, you're absolutely right, mate. You need that luck. You need that luck, and who knows? Saturday, I know we reiterate again, but it could be anything. We're going there as supposed underdogs, apparently, according to you two fellas, and we're going. But we've got good players. Who knows? I don't care if it comes off that proverbial backside off of someone and we go a goal up. That may be what we need. So if you are at a loose end on Saturday, take to the road, follow us, follow the Saints away to Needham Market, because the boys need us. And it's time to put any opinions you've got aside for that one day. It's the cup now. Let's focus on that and get behind the Saints.
Go on then, carry on. I'm just looking up, trying to find something interesting.
So you mentioned
right. Yes.
No, here we go. Yes.
Right. Our first FA Cup tie against a team from Suffolk was, I think, Woodbridge Town. We said the referee on Saturday is Shay Hathaway. He's from Woodbridge. No local interest there. Another club from Suffolk. He's a data analyst at the FA, and I hope he gets more interesting data, chucks out more interesting data than those who are interfering in non-league football and telling us about his players who can do so many passes and they can't score a goal in 5 years. So anyway, that's him. He's done one match at our level this season. He did Hemel Welling the other week, so he's used to seeing Hertfordshire sides win. So it's a gimme Saturday.
Deary me, Lee. What were you going to say before Dave?
So
hit us with his facts.
Are we all done now in terms of the cup? We got any more messages, Jake?
No, I think we covered most of them, to be honest. It was a really great list that everyone sent in, and I think we really appreciate all the suggestions, good and bad memories, it's fair to say.
Well, you mentioned, when we were talking beforehand, Lee, you mentioned about the ground at Bloomfields, Quinton Road, at Needham Market. You think of some other grounds we've been to. Petersfield Town, that wasn't the greatest in the world. The Forge United one, I know you weren't there. It's been some dumps down the years, hasn't it? We enjoyed the days.
Hey, you wait till Saturday. Saturday, sweet cheeks. This is going to knock your socks off.
Well, Luton Town, Kenilworth Road, Grimsby Town. We love Bristol City. We love those grounds. But it's when you go to these small ones, that's the magic of the cup, isn't it? It really is.
Magic of the cup, Needham. You can pay in groats and apples if you want. By all means, it's going to be fantastic. Knuckle down, Tabs. It's going to be quite a ride, mate.
I thought Dave was saying that Luton was one of the worst grounds we went to.
What we don't want to do is set a cup record we set in 1976. We were the first team to concede a goal in the whole competition that year. We came in the preliminary round and we were a goal down inside a minute. and things didn't get any better that day.
I don't think we can do that this year, thankfully.
There's been like 100
No, we
ties
can't.
between then and now, so I think we're all right.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh,
Right.
dear.
On Saturday, Jack James is 50th game for the club. So mark it with a goal, Jack, and take it through to the third qualifying round.
What a
Are
player.
we doing some predictions? I think it's worth noting. I think me and Lee both got the outcome correct on Saturday. Did we not? Draw?
Moving on, Jake. That's history.
Go on, Jacob. Start us off, mate.
I'll go for 2-1 Saints.
Sorry, mate. I didn't quite hear that. Say it again.
2-1 Saints, please.
I'm going to go for 8 tractors that I'm going to get stuck behind on the way to the ground. Other than that, scoreline, I'm going to go. Listen, I'm going to go 3-0. Come on, you mighty see. Yeah, I know. That's where I am right now.
All right. Okay. No, between two sides are not in top form, although Needham are picking up a bit lately as they get accustomed to playing at a higher level. So, they're not doing that bad when you factor that in as well. We are now coming good. We're almost unstoppable, as Weston-super-Mare found out. So, let's go for a 2-2.
Oh, my goodness.
Almost unstoppable.
Tabs, you mentioned us beating Brentford a bit earlier on. I've got some news regarding our friends from formerly Griffin Park, or whatever it is now. Former Saint legend Alan Cochrane and his wife Vicky are up for a couple of awards. So for those, some of you may or may not know, they are in charge of the Brentford Penguins, which is a disability side around the club, and they had a documentary made called The Mighty Penguins, probably about 18 months ago now. And it's up for 2 awards. It's up for a really prestigious Grierson Awards, which is the British Documentary Awards. And if you imagine all the documentaries that you lot scroll through on Amazon and Netflix and Apple TV, it is up there. It is up there. And it's been shortlisted amongst all of those in the sport category. The nomination, it's been shortlisted. The nominations are fine-tuned next week with the awards later on in November. And also Alan and his team are up for a BBC Radio London Community Award as well for all of the work that they do with the Penguins. So from all of us here at the pod, we know you watch, Al, so congratulations, mate. It's been a fantastic journey. And for anyone who wants to know more, just Google search Brentford Penguins and all the information there. It is really the most uplifting initiative in the world. He was on the radio the other day. What a man, what a legend. And congratulations, mate. You deserve all the accolades that you get.
That's great news. Good luck with that, Cockers. Of course, last year he got a coronation, or was it the year before, a coronation award when King Charles took over the throne. He was one of 500 people to get an award with that. Good stuff.
Oh, brilliant. We also had an interview with Alan Busby, going on 2 years now ago at this point, but we talk about his City career for any new fans that want to know what a player Alan was. And also we do talk about Brentford Penguins as well in that as well. So give it a search on here and you'll find it with quite a lot of other interviews as well. The back catalogue for anyone that's got a lot of spare time, if you're that way inclined. Anything else we want to mention before we shoot off?
Yeah, I've got one. Oh, go on, Tabs. Go on, mate.
Well, another FA Cup one, which should have chucked in, which my mate Andy mentioned. The 3-3 draw at Stevenage. We should have mentioned that one.
Good Lord.
What a day it was. Yeah. With Duffield scoring a lot. Did Duffield get the late penalty when Cockers fell over an outstretched leg? What a day that one was. And there was something else I was going to chuck in then, but go on then, Lee.
So, firstly, thank you. We were sort of talking off air about the response we've got this week. And over the course of the season so far, actually, the number of views and listens to the pod has grown. So thank you so much. And YouTube as well. A little mention to my friend in the US of A, Big Dick McFlick. How are you, my friend?
No.
I know. He was... Your opinion absolutely matters. If you are a fan of this great club, you have just as much right to an opinion as anyone else. People can like it, people can lump it, but just because you're the other side of the Atlantic, mate, does not mean that you don't have to, you can't have a say in what is happening here. We're not. There are people and there are clubs which are like that, but we are an all-inclusive club, mate. And thank you. I know we've got about 6 or 7 fans in America, so thank you so much to all of those. And please do keep your responses and your comments and your messages coming in. Jacob is going to tell you how to get in touch with us right now.
Yeah, for the Saints on Twitter, thank you all for the responses on Twitter. We've had loads in the last couple of weeks. Even when things aren't so great on the pitch, we try and keep it entertaining, and we want to hear your thoughts throughout the season. Email in the description below where you can get in contact. And yeah, leave a comment as well below, like our friends from America. We love reading them all. And yeah, I think that'll do for this week. So thank you all very much for watching once again. And we will speak to you again after the FA Cup. Hopefully no replay. We'll see.
If you see any of us at the game, come and say hello, buy us a pint, and all good.
That's the main thing. Buy us a pint.
Damn right.
Right. We will speak to you next week. Thank you very much, everyone. Come on, you Saints. Bye-bye.